Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down chapter 146 today, an unsalvageable fight.
A title that could apply to so many of Luffy's encounters. He doesn't pick fights he can win, he picks fights that need to be fought. It suggests a situation beyond repair, a conflict where diplomacy and reason have already failed. In this case, it's not just a physical fight, it's a fight against a broken system, a forgotten promise. A truly unsalvageable situation that can only be solved with force.
Exactly. And this one ends with one of the most ridiculous and coolest team-up moves we have seen yet. I'm talking about a full-on, high-speed, dynamic entry that is pure, uncut One Piece. Luffy in a bright pink winter coat that's 3 sizes too small, flying across the battlefield off a kick from a man covered in electrified hairballs to save a reindeer being eaten alive by a metal-jawed tyrant.
When you say it like that, it sounds completely absurd, like a fever dream cobbled together from a children's story in a heavy metal album cover.
It is absurd. That's why it's perfect. It's Oda flexing his creative muscles, showing us that the coolest moments don't have to be grim and serious. They can be goofy, vibrant, and utterly insane. If you're new here and that sentence somehow made perfect sense to you, you're in the right place. Go ahead and ring that bell so you don't miss a single beat of this cruise journey with us.
Let's get into it. The chapter opens right where the last one left off. Luffy has just punched the so-called King of Drum, Wapol.
Bam! Right in the jaw. Not a shove, not a warning shot, a full-on rubber-powered haymaker. There's no hesitation, no who are you, just straight-up decking a monarch because he was being a jerk. Wapol's goons, Chess and Kudo are completely stunned. Their jaws are on the floor. You can see the pure disbelief in their eyes that anyone would dare touch their boss, the great King Wapol.
It's a complete violation of their worldview. For them, status and authority are absolute. To strike a king is to strike a god. But for Luffy, he operates on a completely different moral axis. For him, the only authority that matters is whether you're a good person or a bad person. Wapol failed the test, so he got punched. It's that simple.
They help him up, and Wapol is of course furious. He's spitting and sputtering, this look of indignant rage on his face. But the immediate next beat is what sets the tone for the entire encounter. It's not more yelling or posturing. It's Sanji, ever the cool head in a fight, just calmly taking a drag from his cigarette and asking Luffy who these guys are.
It's a perfect character moment. While Luffy acts on pure, unfiltered instinct, Sanji is the assessor. He's analyzing the threat level, gathering intel. He's the one who brings a semblance of strategy to Luffy's chaos. He's not shocked that Luffy punched a king. He's just annoyed that he doesn't have the tactical information he needs.
And then he follows it up with the most important question of all. How are you not freezing in just a vest and shorts? It's the perfect Sanji moment. He's staring down a deposed king and his 2 weird-looking henchmen on a frozen mountaintop, and his primary concerns are A, identifying the enemy, and B, crew logistics. Utterly pragmatic in the middle of chaos. He's the crew's quartermaster as much as he is its chef.
Luffy just pauses. Oda draws this fantastic panel. There's this long, silent beat. You can almost see the 2 lonely brain cells bumping into each other, trying to connect. The punch bad guy neuron has been firing on all cylinders, and it's taken this long for the environmental conditions neuron to get a word in. And then it hits him all at once. The cold, the fact that he has no idea who he just punched, the reality of the situation crashes down on him.
The entire crew's reaction is priceless. Sanji just looks completely exasperated, just slack-jawed shock at how long it took him to process basic reality. He operates on pure, uncut, 100-proof instinct. He saw a bad guy threatening his friends and the doctor who was trying to save Nami, and that was it. All other thought processes, self-preservation, situational awareness, basic meteorology, just shut down.
It's his greatest strength and his most glaring weakness intertwined. That single-minded focus is what will let him topple empires. When he decides on a goal, nothing can distract him. But on the other hand, he'd also forget to eat or breathe, or in this case, not get hypothermia if the crew wasn't there to remind him. They function as his executive planning committee.
It reminds me of what Zoro said way back in Syrup Village about how a captain can't show weakness, but this is a different kind of weakness, isn't it? It's not a lack of conviction, it's a complete lack of self-preservation, and his solution is just as simple. He doesn't ask Sanji for his coat, he just yells, "I need a jacket," and sprints back into the castle. He doesn't delegate, he doesn't think about a strategy, he just identifies a problem, "I am cold," and runs headfirst at the solution.
He runs right into Nami's room to find one, of course. No concept of privacy or personal space. But in his mind, it makes a certain kind of sense. This whole journey up the mountain was for Nami. She is the anchor point of this quest. Therefore, her room must contain the solution to his current problem. The logic is bizarre, but it's consistent within his own worldview.
Meanwhile, Wapol is losing his mind outside. He's back on his feet and ranting about how his former subjects are disrespecting him, how they've forgotten their place. He's got this whole "how dare the peasants touch me" vibe going on. He tries to march right into his old castle like he still owns the place.
But he stopped. Dr. Kureha is there, blocking the massive doors with her surprisingly small frame. And she's not alone. Chopper, in his small reindeer-human hybrid form, is with her, standing resolutely at her side. The image is powerful. The old and the young, the mentor and the student, standing together to defend their home.
And Kureha lays it out, cold as the mountain air. She just looks at him, completely unimpressed, and tells Wapol this isn't his castle anymore. It is Dr. Hiriluk's grave, and that nobody is going to be allowed to take down his flag. The sheer audacity. She's standing up to an armed tyrant and his goons with nothing but a bottle of plum wine and sheer force of will.
The Quack doctor's flag, she says. That detail is so important. Even when defending his memory with her life, she still calls him a quack. It's her own kind of love. It's not sentimental or sanitized. She loved Hiriluk for exactly who he was. A brilliant, foolish, big-hearted failure who never gave up. By calling him a quack, she is honoring the truth of his memory, not a romanticized version of it.
The flag. Man, it always comes back to the flag in this series. We saw it with Shanks in The Mountain Bandits, how he let them spill beer on him but lost his cool when they threatened his friend over it. But the flag represents the whole crew, the whole dream. We saw it with Zeph's Jolly Roger on the Bharati, how Sanji would die before letting anyone disrespect it. A person's flag is their conviction. It's their entire life, their dream, hoisted up for the world to see. And Hiriluk's is flying over this castle.
This connects directly back to what Hiriluk himself said to Dalton. When does a man die? He dies when he is forgotten. That flag is his memory made manifest. Kureha and Chopper aren't just defending a piece of cloth on a pole, they're defending his very existence from being erased. Wapol taking the castle is one thing, but him tearing down that flag would be the final, true death of Dr. Hiriluk.
And Hiriluk's flag is so unique, too. It's a skull and crossbones, sure, but the skull has cherry blossom petals falling around it. It's not a flag of conquest or terror. It's a flag of hope, a promise that even in the coldest, deadest of winters, a beautiful spring can bloom. It's the flag of a doctor, a scientist, a dreamer. It might be the most wholesome pirate flag we've ever seen.
It's a symbol of his life's work, the belief that there is no disease that cannot be cured. He applied that to the human body and, more importantly, to the heart of the nation itself. He believed he could cure Drum Kingdom's frozen soul. That flag represents a future he never got to see, a promise passed on. This is the very essence of inherited will.
Wapol doesn't care about any of that, of course. He's a materialist. He wants his castle, his treasure, his power. Abstract concepts like hope and memory mean nothing to him. So to protect it, to protect Hiriluk's place, Chopper transforms.
He shifts into his human form, or what his devil fruit allows him to perceive as a human form. He becomes this big, bipedal, muscular creature. He's covered in thick, brown fur, has hooved feet, but stands upright with powerful arms and a determined look on his face. And in that moment, Wapol's men, Chess and Curl Marimo, finally recognize him.
They realize he's the monster they saw before, the one who attacked their hunting party near Hiriluk's home. But the context is everything. When they saw him then, he was just some random beast in the woods. Now, seeing him stand with Kureha to protect the flag, the pieces click. He wasn't some random beast, he was a son protecting his father's home.
It's heartbreaking, really. His entire life, he's been defined by this one word, monster. He was a monster to his reindeer herd because of his blue nose and his devil fruit. He was a monster to the humans of Drum Kingdom because he was a talking beast they couldn't understand. The one time he acts out of love and loyalty to protect the only person who ever showed him kindness, it just reinforces that reputation in the eyes of the world. He simply can't win.
Well, the fight is on now. Kuromarimo, the guy with the huge afro, attacks first. He makes these electrostatic balls out of his own hair and lobs them at Dr. Kureha. He calls them Ileki Marimo. This is so perfectly Oda. It's a goofy, ridiculous power that's also genuinely dangerous.
A marimo is a type of rare algae that grows into large green balls, so it's a pun on his hair's appearance. It's a ridiculous-looking attack, but the crackling electricity makes it clear he's not just throwing fluff. He's targeting the non-combatant, the old woman. It shows their complete lack of honor.
Sanji's not having any of it, not on his watch. He leaps in, a blur of black and white, kicking the hairballs away from Kureha like a true gentleman. Ladies should be treated gently, he thinks. Even in the middle of a fight, his chivalry is his prime directive. But they're not just electrified, they're sticky. They just glom onto his leg and his suit.
He's stuck. He can't kick them off, and they're buzzing with electricity, probably delivering a constant, paralyzing shock. It's a clever trap, a devil fruit's power combined with a simple property like stickiness. It's a surprisingly tactical move that incapacitates their fastest and most agile fighter immediately.
And the other guy, Chess, takes immediate advantage. While Sanji's on the ground trying to shake off the Ileki Marimo, Chess starts firing flaming arrows right at him. It's a coordinated attack. These guys are a unit.
These two might be buffoons in their loyalty to a ridiculous king, but they work together effectively. Kuromarimo sets the trap, immobilizing a target. Chess, the archer, goes for the finish. It's a much more tactical approach than we've seen from villains like Captain Morgan or Don Krieg, who mostly relied on overwhelming force or numbers. This is a combo attack, and it's working.
Sanji's in a real bind. He's being electrocuted and used for target practice. He calls out for Chopper to help him, and Chopper sees his opening. With Chess focused on Sanji, he charges in to land a punch on the archer. He's trying to save the person who, just moments before, was a complete stranger to him. He's already acting like a straw hat.
But he's stopped. Wapol, who had been watching from the side, intercepts him. And then Wapol opens his massive metal-plated jaw and just starts eating Chopper.
Bro, it's horrifying. It's one of the most disturbing things we've seen in the series so far. It's not just a bite. His mouth unhinges like a snake's, and he's just swallowing him whole. That's the Baku Baku no Mi, the munch munch fruit. We knew he could eat anything, cannons, buildings, people's houses, but a person, a living, breathing, conscious person, that's a different level of messed up.
It's the ultimate act of consumption and domination. He doesn't just defeat his enemies, he erases them. He turns them into fuel for his own selfish needs. It's the perfect power for a king who metaphorically devoured his own country's resources, especially its doctors, leaving the people to suffer. Now we're seeing that metaphor made literal and grotesque. He's consuming the last student of the doctor he drove to his death.
It's pure body horror. You see Chopper struggling, his little arms and legs flailing as he's getting pulled into this dark abyss of a mouth. Chopper is being eaten alive. Sanji's immobilized, Kureha can't do anything. It's a completely hopeless situation. The bad guys have won. And just then,
a flash of pink against the white snow.
Luffy's back, and he's found a jacket. It's Nami's, a pink fuzzy-collared winter coat that is way, way too small for him. The sleeves barely go past his elbows. His whole midsection is exposed. He looks absolutely, positively ridiculous, like a pro wrestler trying on his little sister's clothes.
But he's not there to make a fashion statement. He was gone for less than a minute, but in that time, the entire battlefield has changed. He takes it all in instantly. He sees Sanji on the ground, tangled in hairballs. He sees Chess aiming an arrow, and most importantly,
he sees Chopper, his new potential friend, disappearing into Wapol's mouth.
And Sanji sees him, even covered in electrified hairballs, even being targeted by fire arrows. His tactical mind is still working. He knows he can't fight, but he can still contribute. He knows Luffy's power and his own. He shouts at Luffy to grab his leg.
Luffy doesn't hesitate. He doesn't ask why. He doesn't question the plan. He just does it. He trusts Sanji completely. This is that crew synergy we talk about. It's becoming second nature to them. One's weakness becomes an opportunity for another's strength.
Sanji unleashes this massive kick, not as an attack, but as a propulsion system. It's like the first stage of a rocket. He launches Luffy like a cannonball, and Luffy just rockets across the snow, arm cocked back for a Gomu Gomu no pistol, the wind whipping his stupidly small pink coat behind him. He's a pink blur of righteous fury.
It's a Gomu Gomu no pistol, but amplified. It's not just his own rubber power. It's propelled by the full explosive force of Sanji's leg strength. It's their first real combination attack, born of desperation and instinct. It's beautiful.
The impact is huge. Wapol is still in the middle of his disgusting meal when Luffy slams fist first directly into his gut. There's this incredible sound effect as he connects. Wapol's eyes bulge, his metal jaw clangs, and he just spits Chopper right out. He goes flying out of his mouth, covered in saliva, but safe. That was super.
The teamwork is what's so incredible. They've only been a crew for a short time, but they operate on a shared wavelength. Luffy provides the raw, unstoppable power. Sanji provides the precision, the strategy, and the delivery system. They don't even need to speak. They just know. Sanji saw the opening, and Luffy was the bullet for his gun.
And the visual is just, it's perfect One Piece. The silliest looking hero in a borrowed pink coat that makes him look like a clown, performing the most epic high-speed rescue imaginable. He looks completely absurd, but he hits with the force of a freight train. That's the philosophy of this series in a single image. You can be goofy and still be the coolest person on the battlefield.
It's a powerful thematic statement. Wapol, the man who consumes everything for his own benefit, is forced to give something back. He is literally incapable of keeping what he takes from these people. Luffy didn't just hurt him, he beat something out of him. He forced Wapol to relinquish his prize, reversing the very nature of his power.
And he saved Chopper. That's the thing. That's all that mattered in that moment. He just met this little reindeer-human hybrid a few hours ago, but he saw him defending his home, saw him trying to protect someone else, saw him get hurt, and that was enough. It was an unspoken declaration. Welcome to the crew, pal. You didn't know it yet, but you just got a captain who will fly across a battlefield in a coat 2 sizes too small to save your life.
That protection is unconditional. It doesn't require an application or a formal induction. Chopper has spent his entire life being rejected and feared, and here, for the first time, is someone who protected him without question, without even knowing his story. He just felt it.
What a chapter, just packed to the gills. The emotional stakes with Hiriluk's flag, the thematic horror of Wapol's ability, and then that incredible, triumphant, hilarious final moment of pure teamwork. If you've got a favorite crew team-up moment, let us know what it is down in the comments. The Luffy-Zoro combo against the giant fishman was great, but this Luffy-Sanji one might be my new number 1. The sheer style of it is off the charts.
It's a very strong contender. The synthesis of their abilities is remarkable. So, where do we go from here? Wapol has taken a serious hit, and Luffy is back on the field, jacket and all.
Oh yeah, he's not getting up from that easily. My first prediction, Chopper is going to get his own moment to shine now. He was saved, but he's not a damsel in distress. We've seen him as a defensive fighter, but getting eaten alive and then saved like that is going to light a fire under him. We've seen his small hybrid form, his full reindeer form, and his brawny human point. I think we're about to see another one of his points, maybe a speed-focused form, something that lets him dodge and weave around Chess and Kuremarino's combo attacks. He'll use his medical knowledge to find their weak points.
A tactical transformation. That would be fitting for a doctor. I could see that. My first prediction is that Wapol will retaliate with the full, grotesque extent of his power. We saw him eat inanimate objects to create the Wapol cannon. I think we're going to see his Baku Baku factory ability next, but in a much more horrifying way. He's going to eat his own subordinates, Chess and Kuremarimo, and fuse them together into some horrible new warrior. He has no loyalty. They are just resources to him, like everything else. We'll see a Chess Marimo monster.
Whoa, that's dark. Eating his own men? That's definitely his style. I can totally see that. Gross. Okay, for my second prediction, this fight is going to the roof. Wapol is going to realize that as long as that flag is flying, these people won't give up. It's what's giving them all this fighting spirit. He's going to make a break for the top of the castle to tear it down personally, and Luffy is going to have to chase him up there for the final showdown. The battle for the castle becomes the battle for the flag.
I like that. Thematically, it works perfectly. My second prediction is that we'll get a piece of vital information from Dr. Kureha during a lull in the fighting. Now that Luffy has proven his character by saving Chopper without a second thought, not for glory, not for treasure, but just to save a life, she'll see that he's different. She'll see the same reckless, selfless spirit that Hiriluk had. I think she's going to tell him something crucial about Hiriluk's research, maybe hinting at the secret of the cherry blossoms and what it could mean for this country. She'll begin the process of entrusting Hiriluk's will to them.
A lore drop in the middle of the fight. Classic. I love it. Man, this has been an incredible chapter to break down. I can't wait to see Wapol get what's coming to him. It's going to be a super satisfying takedown.
It does feel like justice is long overdue for Drum Kingdom, and it seems the agents of that justice have finally arrived, one ill-fitting pink coat at a time.
You said it. All right, everyone, that's it for this week. Join us next time as we continue our journey through Drum Island. Until then, keep your flag flying high.